Spending big, and I mean spending really big. The ongoing Russia 2018 World Cup, to an extent, has got the better part of football lovers' attention. But a lot is going on in the transfer window as clubs are seeking to boost their squad ahead of the 2018-2019 season. From the much anticipated Real Madrid superstar Cristiano Ronaldo's move to Juventus and the much talked about move of former Napoli coach Maurizio Sarri to Chelsea. The transfer market is bubbling, and I have here our in-house guest analyst, Henry Courtois. Henry, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm good.
All right, so there's so much news about transfers.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the biggest is Cristiano Ronaldo's move from Real Madrid to Juventus.
Yeah, it's normally something the world attention has been focused upon when you consider the status of Cristiano Ronaldo and what he does for football. Both for the image value and the performance on the pitch. And so anything that concerns Cristiano Ronaldo is big news.
What do you think this is going to be as an impact for him, you know, career-wise?
Great for his career, because he came to Real Madrid in 2009, and from that time till now, about 9 years ago, he has done great things for the club. He has won the Champions League back to back to back, you know, the first player to do so. He has scored loads of goals. He has broken several records, both for club and country, and he's not looking like stopping yet.
All right, so what do you think this move means for Real Madrid?
Well, Real Madrid are certainly going to be the losers, because his impact in Real Madrid and the image, you know, for Real Madrid has soared high over those years he was present there. Now, moving and going to a club like Juventus is like taking value away from Real Madrid and depositing that value in Juventus. And so attention will now move to Juventus, and you know what that means for Juventus' image as well. The Juventus have not won the Champions League since 1996, and they will be looking for somebody to boost, you know, that their chances of making it in Europe.
Definitely.
After several, you know, failures on the continent.
And, you know, and they're spending really big, like we said initially, you know. I think they're offering about £100 million.
Yes, to get someone like Ronaldo, you have to spend big. As at the time Ronaldo was bought for £80 million by Real Madrid from Manchester United, everyone thought it was really big money. But now it seemed like a century ago now, it's no longer big for a player to, you know. Yeah, it pales into its significance when compared to what he earned at that time. Every day, other day, the transfer market is getting bigger and bigger, and there are bigger spenders. As a matter of fact, there are clubs in China that are willing to top what Juventus is offering.
Moving on from Ronaldo to Neymar, because as Ronaldo is leaving Real Madrid, Neymar seems to be heading towards Real Madrid. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Well,
Real Madrid has denied that they made a move for Neymar. But, you know, you can never put anything beyond Real Madrid. When they want a player, they always get a player. They are known for spending big and getting the big players, and it has paid off over the years. We remember the years. Do not forget that even Zinedine Zidane, who later came to coach the team, was once a player of Real Madrid. So there was an era, you had the Galacticos, where you had the big players, Roberto Carlos, Gonzalez, Raul Gonzalez, you had Beckham, David Beckham, Luis Figo, and a host of others, you know, playing together in one club, and they were then known as the Galacticos, so they can buy any player when they want to.
But do you think that Real Madrid going for Neymar is some sort of replacement for Ronaldo?
It could be, because Real Madrid has always been known for the big names, and apart from the football they play on the pitch, it does something for the value and the image of the club. So they are known for buying big players to, you know, boost the stature of the club.
Well, now there's a new kid on the block, Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, everyone has compared him with Thierry Henry.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so much going on about him. You know, in the World Cup, you know, he's still doing great things. He scored a goal recently, and he was the second. He made a record as the second youngest player after Pelé to score in a World Cup, and so that is a record for him. So his profile has been rising steadily for the last 2 years, and everyone feels that he has a great potential, that he can add value to football going forward.
Well, Real Madrid seems to be spending a lot of money, from, you know, bidding for Neymar and now Mbappe. Why can't they use that money to keep Ronaldo instead?
Now, well, it depends on the player. You cannot force a horse to a river and force it to drink water. Maybe Ronaldo is looking for new horizons. Maybe he needs a breath of fresh air. He has done all he has to do. Exactly, he has done all he has to do for the club, and they can't complain.
All right. So, do you think Mbappe is going to go ahead to go to Real Madrid?
Well, as at the moment, it's still speculation period. We will allow the World Cup to, go after the World Cup. The transfer market will really hot up, and some transfers are not concluded until even the last day of August. So it's still speculations. There are so many speculations. There are some transfers that will not hold eventually, that will not happen. But they will be linked with this and that and that. Then it comes to the issue of spending. Which club can outdo the other, in getting the player, depending on how badly they need that player to fill a certain position. So it's still just hotting up. And as we get along in this program, we are really set to, enlighten our viewers about the latest moves. Now,
it's not just the players who are being, talked about when it comes to transfers. We also have coaches as well. Yeah, so Maurizio Sarri is also on his way from Napoli to Chelsea to replace Antonio Conte.
Yeah, but that one thing that is baffling a lot of football followers is, especially Chelsea fans, is why has that move not happened? It's been on for forever.
Long time, yes.
Normally, Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea, does not wait so long to get a deal settled.
But what do you think that has to do with Willian, for instance, who has, some unsettlement at Chelsea because of his rift with Antonio Conte?
Exactly.
So do you think he's going to stay in Chelsea or he's going to move to Barcelona?
I want to also look at Thibaut Courtois. I think the same issues, whether they will go, whether they will stay, will keep lingering until the issue of the coach is settled, because Willian has a problem with Conte. Conte has always had problems with players. Diego Costa last season, remember? Our own John Mikel Obi and the rest of them. Now, Willian says if Conte remains in that club, he's bound to move. Perhaps he's waiting to see whether Conte will remain or Sarri will come in. And then whichever happens, he has his options, and he wants to stay, he wants to go, depends on whether the coach stays. So that will also determine where Willian will go eventually.
With those 2 cheap goals in the match against Japan in the round of 16 at Russia 2018, is Chelsea's Thibaut Courtois still a good item for Real Madrid?
Well, you could say he made some blunders in a match, but he made up for it in another game. You saw it, and I don't think he had enough day. Does not make him a bad keeper overnight.
But let's just hope that they think so as well.
I do not think it will remove from his value. Teams that want him will want him, because all season long, the league is different from the World Cup. The World Cup, at the most games you play is 7. That is if you get to the final.
True.
Whereas the league is about 38 games plus other matches. So a goalkeeper cannot be written off just with 1 game.
True.
Yeah, so his value keeps rising.
So let's hope so. Gonzalo Higuain's World Cup ended so quick with Argentina. Will it affect his planned move from Juventus to Chelsea?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Like I said, it's the same thing. They call the World Cup a sprint, while the league is a marathon. You need a player who is there. And Chelsea really needs a striker of world class.
They do.
If you consider the fact that Morata has not really been up and doing in that role. And there are even speculations concerning the Morata itself. And so Chelsea is just trying to see. And once again, I think the issue of the coach, coming in or going is affecting the players coming in or going too.
Because and until that is signed in pen and paper.
In my own opinion, I think Chelsea needs someone like Higuain to stabilize the front line.
But I think, like you said, we definitely have to wait and see on that until when the whole coach thing is settled.
Exactly.
And finally, Jack Wilshere has left Arsenal for West Ham. But what do you think this, portends for him?
Well, I think it's a new vista for him. And there are certain players who left us now. They are doing well in other clubs, like the young man who went to Everton, Theo Walcott, went to Everton. Certain players, they need to leave at one point or the other.
But it could either be the beginning of a journey or the end of a career.
I think he really needs that move because he missed going to the World Cup for England.
Sure.
And if by any chance England goes on to win the World Cup, it will be a double blow for Jack Wilshere, because he really came in towards the end of the season and was doing well. And at the time was being linked with the fact that he could become captain of the team. Then, but Unai Emery comes and says, we don't need you. When Wenger was there, they were even talking of extending his contract. Then suddenly a new coach comes and says, we don't need you, you are surplus to requirement, you might have to go. And he's looking like West Ham, we need to revive his career so that he can keep playing and perhaps knock on the English door, the English national team door again. And so I think players need it to help their career to grow instead of remaining in one club and trying to fight for a shirt that may not come. Yeah, and then from Jack Wilshere, you know, as he's going, they are also trying to get new players, and there's a certain Mathieu Guendouzi who's coming in from Lorient in the Ligue 1, in the French League 2, that's trying to join Arsenal to make it the first signing for the season. And when this comes in, that means they have Ben Leno is coming in from Borussia Dortmund. Is a player that Unai Emery has been coveting. He's a goalkeeper to replace Peter Cech. You know, he's aging. And now you have the other young man, Guendouzi, coming in. And so at the end of the day, we are having about 4 players that have just been signed by Arsenal this season. And then that means they are really looking forward to strengthening up the squad ahead the new season.
All right, thank you so much, Henry, for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for always enlightening us and making us know better about the transfer market.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much for watching Transfer Flix on Hotspot TV. I am Oluyemi. See you next time.